Yeah, what's the role of purpose in all of this? Because something that I found with myself is that the times where I'm the happiest are times where I'm working hard on something that I'm striving for, even if it's not working out. Like it could like not like I could be posting videos and they're not doing well. Like back in the early days when I first started this podcast and all the in the TikTok and all of that, but I was like still happy in that process. And then when I was slacking, when I was slipping, like you just feel like I just don't feel good about yourself. What's the role of like purpose in all of this and having like something to strive for?
Yeah, purpose and meaning are hugely important. And they raise a really interesting question. Like, did our ancestors seek purpose and meaning? Did they sit around wondering, what is my purpose? What meaning does all this have? And I actually think that they didn't, because they always knew it was there. Our ancestors believed, almost all of our ancestral religions had a similar quality, which is that when you die, you become sort of like a spirit or a god that your descendants then can pray to and ask for favors and advice. And you become part of this unbroken chain that exists throughout all time for all of your ancestors in the past and all of your progeny in the future. And of course, to some degree, there's truth to that, right? We are part of this unbroken chain. We wouldn't be here otherwise. In fact, our distant cousin, the celery, is part of that unbroken chain as well, right? But the meaning that they got from it is more of a spiritual meaning that we don't necessarily get anymore. Because I now know that the cousin is the celery is my distant cousin, and that's kind of weird, right? I'm eating it as part of my salad. And so biology and science have replaced for many of us the kind of purpose and meaning that I believe our ancestors had automatically. And so now most of us achieve that in a very different kind of way. For example, by trying to make a success in your career and striving really hard. Even when you're failing, you believe this is going to work. I'm going to make it happen. I just got to stay in the trenches and keep hard at it. And other people might do it in other kinds of ways. But that sort of striving plays a huge role. Now, it raises a really interesting question of what happens in the not too distant future when AI can do everything better than we can do, right? And what are you meant to strive for? I can imagine a not too distant future where there's universal basic income, so everybody has enough money to survive. You don't need to work if you don't want to. And whatever work you do, some machine could do better than you anyway. And maybe that'll bring us to a world kind of like our ancestors, where they're all hunter-gatherers because they need to bring in the food. But of course, what they really enjoy is just spending time with each other. And in large part because that was safety. That was the best place for them to be.